All right, for some reason, we have to start out this week with a question that I'm still kind of mystified as why we're answering here from last time.
Hold on. It's the B-Man question of the week. It's not the John Paul question of the week.
All right.
So I'm just letting you know.
All right.
Throwing it out there.
So anybody who doesn't enjoy the next few minutes, this is B-Man's fault. And after that, we'll get on with the rest of the Old Titans.
Do we have to dance also?
No.
Yes, for anybody wondering, welcome to Old Titans. And yes, I'm dancing because, well, it's one of those things that I do. And I enjoy it. And
he's the boss.
why not? So,
I enjoyed it
just
also.
happens. Just happens.
Just
So,
point that out.
I have to, every week I deal with that.
hey, if that's all you have to deal with in life that's bad, you've got a pretty good life.
That's true.
You could be, I don't know, somehow involved in the Trump administration. That'd be worse.
Politics. Let's go on to the show. Start it.
Okay, no. I want to say one thing Trump related first.
No, I really don't want this.
No, this is a fun one. This is a fun one. You'll enjoy this. Then we'll go to the news. Then we'll go to the news. You like Toy Story, right?
Yes.
Trump was signing a new space thingy executive order. And we'll call it a space thingy executive order because that's what he called it. He announces he's assigning this stuff to Vice President Pence.
He's already boarding. Yes. Go ahead. I'm listening.
You're slowing this down.
Yes. No, go ahead.
Really?
Go ahead.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. We'll come back to it then. I'm not even going
No,
to.
do the Toy Story thing. Do the Toy Story thing.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Does anybody here not know what the words "to infinity and beyond"
Buzz Lightyear.
mean? Yes.
Yeah.
Trump has no clue. He completely missed the point of the joke at his signing of the space thing. He's like, yeah. He opens up the folder and it's space. It's space. There's a lot out there. And the response was, yeah, infinity and beyond. And the whole place laughs, except, of course, Trump who's like, yeah, I guess infinity. Yeah, maybe we don't know. But, yeah, maybe infinity. Don't know, really. But, yeah, sure, infinity's there. Okay. And then he goes ahead to signing. So I just had
That
to
was
bring that
good.
in.
You shouldn't have interrupted him. That's funny.
Yeah, I kind of felt
He
that was
loves
good.
talking politics.
That's fine. People
That's
enjoy
not political.
politics.
That's
Just funny.
That's a nerdy story.
It's political.
All right.
And my question of the week is yet bad, right?
And now we are going into the B-Man question of the week.
Well, no, we have a special guest here today, all right? We know the guys from Harder Worker here. Matt
Hey,
and
yo.
Nick.
Yeah.
But,
we didn't say hi to everybody, did we? Let's
No,
see if
that's-
question waits. We didn't say hi. We got to say that. So I'm John Paul.
B-Man.
There, we know those two, obviously, but who else is here?
I am a hard at work Matt.
I'm hard at work, Nick.
And I'm just Jimmy.
And just Jimmy. All right.
Yes, and
Now, back to the B-Man.
The question of the week. Now, when I do my questions, a lot of times, Jimmy and I talk about them beforehand, and we joke around a little bit, this kind of stuff.
Who?
Jimmy over here.
Who?
Just Jimmy.
Just Jimmy. Okay, I was confused.
JJ. Double J.
JJ.
So Double J and I sitting there joking around.
Sorry.
Feel better?
Dad jokes are flowing.
There we go.
So,
Anyway,
That was good.
I had zero question to ask this week. Ask
Okay.
Double J here, like, what do I say for question? How about this? Chewbacca versus Jason. Who wins? Because, we're playing that Friday the 13th game, big display. We talk about it all the time. And
because Chewbacca shows up in these games all the time.
Which, ironic, I hadn't realized this, but this keeps coming up. And
It
it's
was
probably most likely because they didn't have a definitive report.
Right. So, how did work discuss this on your show, I believe, in
Yeah,
detail?
we put this thing to bed and we said,
You put it to bed.
Jason wins.
Okay.
And Jimmy was taking some heat on this. So I had him come on a few minutes
Who
today.
was? Who was?
Double J here.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, just Jimmy is sitting here with an entire document with
The new
a
Chewbacca
bunch of
defense.
pages.
The new Chewbacca
Not-
defense.
It's 2 pages and some illustrations.
Okay. It's very scientific. Which, being sitting at a university, he's the one who did his homework.
That
You
is
got to give him
true.
points for that.
I perused this report. It's longer than 2 pages and 2 illustrations.
It's 2 pages.
Oh, there's a
That's
third.
Okay. That's like 2.5.
Yeah, condense those down. It's handwriting. The handwriting is large.
Together 2 of text and then some illustrations.
In black and white, they look a lot like fake pictures of Bigfoot. But
Now,
Bigfoot, though, also gets killed by Jason. Just throwing that out there.
just to make this
I can see
known,
that. Yeah, I can see that one.
I know that myself and the Harder Work guys pretty much think Jason beats him.
Okay.
Or rather simple.
So that's the answer from that side of the table.
Is that okay if I say that?
Yeah,
to you
no,
guys? 'Cause
That
again,
is the
I've tried to remain neutral on this, but it's hard.
that is the knee
I work.
jerk thoughtless response that most people will give.
Okay,
they'll,
well,
they'll say,
I'll
"I've
just say-
seen Jason kill 100 people, so of course, Jason."
Well, I'll just say, I do have what I think is a definitive answer, but I do want to hear the defense. I'm not saying whether I'm on your
Okay.
side or their side. I want to hear the defense for the Chewbacca side, since we have 3 over here on the Jason side.
Yes.
With no
Okay.
defense behind it, just that, well, Jason's awesome, and which everybody has to agree.
He's an undead killing machine.
Yes, yes.
That's all
Sure,
right.
and I don't dispute that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. 10 times out for Jason. 10 movies that he's in. The first one was his mom. Spoiler alert. Okay.
It's not
Ten-
too late.
10 times out, 0 wins on the board. Not a single one of those movies has ended with Jason standing on the pile of bodies, last man standing.
True.
He loses every single time.
To the last person. However, he beats all the other people in each movie.
It doesn't matter because he
Okay.
still loses. And if it's just him and Chewbacca, Chewbacca's the last person.
He's not a person.
He's a Wookiee.
That's very hurtful to Wookiees.
I'm just saying.
That is racist.
Okay,
He's a pet, right? He's
So-
Han Solo's
Yeah, he's
pet.
Han Solo's pet.
Yeah.
so Jason has
Oh,
lost.
okay. We're not going to go down that discussion.
Okay, Jason's lost in every single time. And every person that he's lost to, Chewbacca is smarter than, he's stronger than, he's got more combat experience than. Matt
I'm
is
gonna
waving his
raise
hand.
my hand on that.
Matt is forgetting that we're on sort of a radio style
you-
thing, and you can't see hands being raised.
I raised my hand. You're throwing things out there that you cannot prove, though. How do you know he's smarter than any of these people?
He works on spaceships. He
So-
builds droids. He builds
These
space
are all things that
weapons.
he's familiar with, sure. But if you put a math problem in front of him, we don't know if he can answer it or not. We've never seen him do
He has
anything.
calculated the trajectory through
No, that's what Han
hyperspace so that they
Solo told
don't fly
you he
through
did.
suns.
That's what Han Solo told you he did, but we never heard anything from him.
That's because you don't speak Wookiee like Han Solo.
That is true.
I will say, in the defense of Chewbacca on this one, with Han Solo's carefree attitude and just
They would
jumping
be
in
dead, no peek.
constantly, if he didn't have somebody smarter than him along on the ship, he would be dead. Yes, he would be
Yeah,
dead.
that partnership, Chewie's the
Which,
smart
by the
one.
way,
He's the pet, but he's just
spoiler
so
alert,
smart.
Han Solo is dead. Just letting you know. Just throwing it out there.
Okay.
That was more relevant to say
So,
spoiler alert, too.
Yeah, you guys brought up in the octagon scenario with just the two of them, and that is Jason's best chance. I think Jason wins probably well over half of the. You give Chewie stuff to work with, he's going to build blasters. He's going to build thermal detonators, out of spare parts, and he's going to blow Jason into atoms. I think. All things considered, I give it a roughly even chances. I think Jason's a little bit stronger, but I think that Chewie's got some edges of his own that outranks Jason.
All right.
I mean, they're both strong enough to kill you with one hit.
True.
That's true.
I agree with that.
They could, any of us at least, yes,
Well,
any of
actually,
us.
yeah. No, let's back that up
Have
a
we
little
seen
bit.
a
Have we
Wookiee
seen a Wookiee do anything that would
Kill
suggest,
someone in one hit?
Yeah, I don't know about
Well, allow me to bring out
He's
the
flipping
fourth
pages.
page of the fourth illustration.
That's
No,
exhibit-
the fifth illustration.
Exhibit C.
that. Which
Wherein Chewbacca shatters a boulder the size of R2-D2.
I'm gonna raise my hand again. What canon book is that from?
Okay.
So it's not
Certainly in
never
the
happened.
comics, which I would consider an alternate canon, much like the new Star Trek is an alternate canon. While the director says, no, that isn't being included in our movie, these people paid Lucas. They have a right to expect the legitimacy,
That's Dark Horse though?
probably.
Well then, I don't count it because that's not who owns it anymore. If we'd had this argument
Okay.
10 years ago, then
If Google buys Apple tomorrow,
yeah.
is your iPhone no longer an iPhone?
If they say it's not, then no, it's not. If they say
It
we're not
doesn't
going to,
magically change
if
it.
they
It
say
doesn't
we're not
scour
supporting-
iPhone off of the case.
if they're saying we're not supporting this device, it's no longer a device that they support, and that's what those books are. These are
It
no
doesn't
longer
stop being an
canon
iPhone.
books.
It got grandfathered in.
Why do you work in a stockroom, not an attorney? I just want to know this.
All right, so now I'm going to give what I think is a definitive answer.
Yes, yes.
Actually, I'm going to start with the joke answer. That really is not the definitive one. The joke answer is Chewbacca really in his secret identity is Peter Mayhew, who is really, really old and frail at this point, and Jason just kills him in an instant. That's the joke answer.
That joke. Yes.
Although the
you know.
actor that originally played Jason's probably pretty old too, right?
I didn't know
I
who
would
the actor
assume
was.
so, right?
Jason's real. What are you talking about?
Okay.
Yeah, that's, you know, I mean, it's
This scenario
you're
is
going
going off the
you're
rails.
going off-
Oh my gosh.
Do not go to Camp Crystal Lake ever.
I will not.
Yeah. Now, the definitive one is, as we all know, Disney really controls the entire universe. I mean, that's
Sure.
whatever is still out there as a rebellion, they are slowly consuming when they get around to it. Not when they fight through it, but just when they get around to it. They control everything. Therefore, if it ever came down to a fight between Chewbacca and Jason, Disney already owns Chewbacca, so they would just buy the rights to Jason. And they're always going to have the good guy win. Therefore, Chewbacca is going to rip Jason's arms off and beat him with them until the credits roll. And then you're going to hear, you know, the nice Star Wars music and all the rest, and Jason will cease to exist until 20 years pass and they decide to bring it back and do the exact same story again in episode 27 and make people forget they already did that same story. And they'll just continue to repeat themselves over and over.
So you think Chewbacca wins?
That
Because
seems,
Disney says so.
that seems reasonable. Chewbacca's got the bigger company in his corner.
Can't argue with the finances of it, I
It
guess.
all comes down to the money. What is it? Follow the rich white guy, and that's that you find it. You know the answer. It's,
So Mickey Mouse essentially beats Jason Voorhees.
there we go.
Wow. Okay.
That's solid. That's solid reasoning there. Can't argue with
All
it.
right, I think
Outside
we
of that, I
can
can't
put this
really-
one to bed.
I really couldn't give
Yeah,
it much
that's-
more serious thought than that one, but you know,
Yeah.
it's one of those
Okay.
fun ones that if anybody ever wants to put together the specs, you know, the stats in a computer game and put them in the ring and have them fight it out, we'll see what
We
happens.
actually what's that?
This thing keeps coming up. Like every couple of years, somebody throws this out there. I had not heard anybody ask that question before, but
We've asked, we've discussed it, we've beat this thing to the ground.
yes,
Beat it to
it is as dead as Jason lying at the
himself.
foot of a howling Wookiee.
Or Corey Feldman.
Or Corey Feldman,
Or Corey Feldman,
or two Corey Feldmans, or whatever.
who also killed Jason.
Well, thank you for coming by, sir. Much appreciated.
All right,
All right,
guys.
so just Jimmy.
Have
is-
fun with the rest of your podcast.
We will. I'll see you in a little bit.
And see you guys.
Until next time, that was just Jimmy. Alrighty. On with the rest of the show. Not that it would probably be much more intelligent than that, but you know, it's. Where do we go from here? How about the news?
The news. Yes.
News. The news is good.
Because we have no topic today, do we? We just kind of rambling
Well,
today.
we have a topic.
There's the news.
I'll tell you what the topic is once we
I'm glad
finish
you told
it.
me. Yeah, this is great. Yeah.
Yeah, once we
Prep
finish
time,
it.
John Paul.
I have to start, of course, with Wonder Woman.
Okay.
It passed the $700 million mark internationally. It is the #1 DC movie now officially
Left and right.
of the extended universe.
Okay.
That does not count Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. They still are higher. It's not going to pass that. It has passed quite a few movies. I think if you look at all the superhero movies combined, it's sitting somewhere around number 15, like all time. Which I was kind of surprised when I looked on Box Office Mojo and looked at the top 100. You only have to beat like 14 million to be in the top 100. It's not,
There's some bad superhero movies out there.
It's a bad one.
Inflation.
Yeah, there's inflation, but you know it's still. But anyway, it's sitting somewhere around number 15, and it's still going.
Okay.
And at the way it is going currently, I'm guessing it's probably going to end up beating Suicide Squad and Man of Steel.
Better.
But I can't swear to that because at least Man of Steel, or not Man of Steel, sorry, Batman vs Superman. It did start with such a huge leap out in its first week that gives it a push.
Yeah, but also keep in mind Batman v Superman took a lot of heat from negative
Yeah.
reviews. But Wonder Woman doesn't get those reviews.
And it also has still a bunch of stuff coming. We got Spider-Man opening this week, which was actually the second news story. So Spider-Man Homecoming opens this week. Mm-hmm. Already had Transformers. Not that Transformers hurt it a lot, but Transformers open. Spider-Man's coming. War of the Planet of the Apes is coming. Dunkirk is coming. Atomic Blonde is coming.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's going to kill it, obviously. But you know, actually, Atomic Blonde looks pretty cool.
It's a stupid name, though. I just wish I would have named it anything else.
I didn't hear this movie until now.
You haven't heard of Atomic Blonde?
No.
Oh, Charlize Theron, is that how you say her last
Yeah.
name? Basically doing her best Jason Bourne as a female
Okay.
I
impersonation.
actually think it's the John Wick people, right?
Is it? Okay.
I believe so. So it's got that same. If you've seen those movies, it's the same kind of action, like really
Okay.
Yeah, real
fast. And,
stylized, violent. Be cool.
It's cool. So anyway, that's the end of July. In between, Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets.
I'm calling it now. That movie bombs, and it's going to bomb hard.
I'm
I
actually.
want it to do good because it looks cool.
It looks great. I don't have any idea how it's going to do in the theaters. I just want it to be cool and for us to be able to enjoy a really cool looking movie because it looks awesome.
It does.
It could be incredible and still bomb.
Could be
Yeah,
next John
that's
Carter.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's got that same feel to
Yeah.
me where it's like this. Yeah, this looks cool, and I'll probably enjoy it, but I don't feel like other people are gonna go
I
watch it.
liked John Carter.
Yeah,
John Carter was a good movie.
good.
It
Yeah.
Was it not?
But again, it was
I feel
Dread.
almost
Remake of Dread
embarrassed to
was good.
say that. But
Don't be. It's fine. It's good.
I mean, I'm not embarrassed to say I enjoy Twilight, even though everybody else makes fun of me for enjoying Twilight.
Those,
You're on your own for that one.
Own
Those
it.
wolves, man, they were cool.
Yeah, just own it. Yeah, the wolves actually. The transition to wolves was
Yeah,
visually
that
one
was
of the
actually
coolest things.
awesome, right?
I've never seen them.
They're just huge wolves. It's awesome. They're like 8 feet tall wolves.
Yeah, and you see the person. Basically, this wolf explodes from out of their body. Their body just shreds and goes everywhere as they transform into this wolf. It's kind of visually cool, no matter what you think of the movies.
They
It's-
waste so much money on clothes.
Yes. Yeah, it's
That's
there.
why they don't wear shirts. You get it.
Oh, okay.
So I can make sure I mention a Marvel bit, even though we talked Disney a little bit.
Spider-Man.
Mention Marvel just a little bit. Marvel Legacy is their next big push. They have been kind of sucking at the comic book side of things. No matter what their movies have been doing, their comic books have not been selling well. People have not been enjoying anything. DC for the past year has been doing their whole rebirth bit and has been selling well. People have been giving it great reviews, and they've been selling, which is kind of the best review and best
Yeah.
best guide. So Marvel is going with Marvel Legacy, which is bringing back all the old stuff, bringing back old numbering, all the rest. And so they made sure to say 2 or 3 times in their press release about everything that they would have a picture of all the titles, on screen with all their numbers beside them. Below is the 53 titles that we're releasing. These are the 53 titles. The number 53, of course, being one more than DC did with the whole new 52.
Oh, so your reason of bringing up Marvel was to diss them to DC. I
Yeah,
gotcha.
a little bit,
That
a
makes
little bit.
sense now. That's great. No, that's good
But they're
news.
bringing back Spider-Man's original numbering. They're bringing back Venom's original numbering and all the different ones. Thor's original numbering.
Comic books drive me crazy. We have this conversation once a week where like, just stop it all. Give me one Superman, one Batman, one Wonder Woman book, and then the one crossover, the Justice League book. I don't need like Spider-Man's got like 4 books and stuff. It's like that's the problem with
Yeah,
comic
one
books.
really good one with your best A team.
They kind of did that back in the, I guess it was mid-90s, sort of, with Superman. They did what they called the triangle numbers. They had 4 different books. Superman, Adventure Superman, Action, and Man of Steel. And because every week you had a Superman book come out. Different teams, because that, at least the artists could not, write and do that many, or draw that many books. But they unified their stories, and they put a triangle shield on the cover of each one, numbered. So no matter if you're reading Action number 698 or Man of Steel number 127 or anything else, you knew what order to read the books in. You just followed the triangle numbers. And they did this for 2 or 3 or 4 years, and it was one long Superman story. I mean, you might have small stories in between, but
It was actually cool. It'd be hard
Yeah.
to coordinate, but
they did it, and it was successful, and I don't know how
I
they
mean
went
that's
away
what
from it.
made these things so cool back in the day. It was like a true unified
Yeah.
universe that, and in any given issue, someone from another comic could show up, or they'll reference a previous issue from 2 years ago, and you just don't get that stuff anymore because they're constantly rebooting, renumbering, whatever.
That's what Rebirth was trying to get away from, and they're, for the past year, have been pretty good about doing a lot of that. We'll see if Marvel, I mean, I'm all for it. Bring back a lot of the
They need
good
to do
stuff.
something. No more reboots
Yeah,
every other
I
year.
like going to the legacy numbering, but it's, I mean, some of the damage is done probably as far as the continuity.
Some of it is, but we're gonna see how it goes. And something that hits a little closer to home here in Orlando, Wizard World. Their convention was coming here in August. I said was coming here in August because they announced 2 convention cancellations, Albuquerque and Orlando. This is 2 years in a row that they have canceled their Orlando convention.
Did they say why?
They never say why. They do follow it up by saying, but in 2018, we're looking forward to being back. Kind of like last year, they said in 2017, looking forward to being back. You kind of have to go there first before you can come back.
It was kind of like Norman Reedus at MegaCon. You know he's going to cancel.
And that's what seems to be happening. They also said that next year in 2018, they're doing almost, that's the key word, almost twice as many shows as they're doing in 2017. Of course, if they keep canceling enough of them, then I don't know how many shows they're really doing. This year, officially, they're doing 20 right now, unless they cancel more. So that means they're doing almost is probably in the 30 to 35 range. I think if you get below 30, you can't say almost double.
And that's still shocking because we are a good convention area. I think.
Yeah.
too
Maybe.
It is too hot.
There could be some stuff happening behind the scenes we don't know about just within their own company. Could be they looked at MegaCon's numbers and were like, we need to do something different time of year or whatever. Because MegaCon, while it was fun, we all know the numbers had to be down this year.
I'm not so convinced of that.
I think they were down 10 or 20, 30,000. I honestly do.
I don't go often enough, but I will say the day we were there in the morning, it was way easier to move around than it was last couple
But the
times.
middle of the day,
Yeah, the middle of the
crazy.
day still sucked, but you guys went all week, so you were saying it was.
It was such a difference from every year up to now.
Yeah, see, I don't.
So, but either way, that could be part of it. Might not have anything to do with it. I have a feeling it's probably more because Wizard is losing money and they're finding places they can cut expenses for a while.
This is, I'm assuming, like the Wizard magazine from back in the day, same
Yeah,
company.
they kind of morphed into.
So they don't do the magazine anymore, do they? Or
No,
do
they have the
magazines?
website. You know, the website pretty much became the magazine for
Yeah.
everybody.
Although, a little trivia question for you guys. In Wizard number 15, the White Works cover, my letter was in that. Just letting you guys know. Throwing it out there.
Nice.
Yeah.
And number 16 is where they announced they were being canceled.
Oh,
That's what
no,
killed it.
No, it was many years later.
What's a letter?
It was just a letter to. I forgot what it was about.
No,
Letter
what
to-
is a letter? I don't understand.
It's like
There's
a
26
thing
of
you
them.
write. It's like an email, but like on paper.
Oh, so you printed out an email and sent it to them?
I think I sent it like through mail.
That's weird.
And actually, Blaze number 8. To another letter. I was in that one as well. Arcade was in the cover.
Good for you, man.
That's
Yeah.
very cool.
I'm pretty famous.
You peaked early in life.
That was the highlight of my life,
That
unfortunately.
was it. Another one, this is one that I'm not sure how to respond to. This is one I want to bring up for discussion and
Okay.
see what everybody thinks. This is one of the ones that could be our main topic for the day unless we don't talk about it long enough, and then never mind. Pirates of the Caribbean. Everybody enjoys Pirates of the Caribbean. The ride, the movies, the whole thing, right?
I like the ride. I like the first movie.
Okay. No.
Okay.
All right. They've changed the ride a little bit at a time over the years. They've made some, drastic changes at times. Sometimes little ones. Johnny Depp is now part of the ride. Disney World, Disneyland, and such. Several years ago, I'm talking 10, 20, more. I don't know how many years ago. They used to have the pirates chasing the girls around the town as you're riding through the ride. Well, that's for nefarious deeds, and we're not going to go into all that. But it's bad.
Right.
It
And they
implies
decided it
some
wasn't-
things.
Yeah, they decided they wanted to be more politically correct, so they changed a lot of that up. A few of them, they left the pirate chasing the girl, but the girl is now carrying a plate of food to give it the impression they're just wanting the food. In some places, they reversed them and had the woman with a rolling pin over her head chasing the pirate.
I remember that.
Made
Yeah.
it more humorous. Great. But they left in place the auction.
Right. We wants the redhead.
We wants the redhead.
Yes.
We wants the redhead. Before 2017 is over, Paris's version will have already changed. And in 2018, Disneyland and Disney World, they're updating that section. It's no longer going to be a female auction. It's not going to be buy a wife anymore. The redhead's not going anywhere, but it's now going to be an auction for stuff that has been collected in the area. And even some of the women will be in there auctioning stuff off. And the redhead is going to be turned into a pirate with a gun, and she's going to be one of the ones who has hoarded stuff to auction off.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to think about this
Because
one.
auctions are real piratey.
I mean,
It's like a
That
swap
is
meet
true.
at a church or
I
something.
mean, I know this was never like an historically accurate thing. Don't get me wrong; it was always kind of just something they made up for this. I get it. So it's not like they're changing history.
Yeah.
But that ride has been around for how many years?
Since 71.
Has there ever been
One of the
really a
originals.
problem with it? Has anybody ever complained that you know of?
Well, the problem right now is just society. People complain about everything. Everybody's offended by everything these days. So I'm not
I
surprised.
wasn't going to say anything, but I mean your hat. I mean, you're wearing a hat indoors, and that's went out a long time ago.
Did it really?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's pretty rude, man.
Sorry.
Yeah, and your Coke bottle, really? You really Coke, vanilla? You couldn't do chocolate?
What do you
It
drink?
has to be all white.
What are you drinking right there?
It's Coke. But not vanilla.
And another thing, while we're on this topic, why do you, when you always say your name, like, what's your name? John. It's John Paul. Your name is John Paul. It drives me crazy. For years I've been yelling at you about this.
Yeah, that's a whole different topic. We're
Yeah.
not
I feel
going
like
to
you
get
can
into it right
introduce yourself how you want. But
now. Back to the Pirates thing. So what do y'all think of this politically correct change? Again, there's nothing wrong with them making changes to the ride. I get it.
yeah.
They're making a change. I enjoy seeing updates and things. I mean, when they added Captain Jack and all that, that wasn't the original ride either. I
But it
enjoyed
does suck if they're feeling pressured to like soften it
Right.
from like outside pressures, because like you said, it could be one really sensitive person and they're making changes to a ride that everyone's enjoyed for years and had no problems with.
Right. And has anybody ever said anything? Oh, probably somebody somewhere, but have
probably
the
one
masses ever
person
said anything?
Wrote
Yeah.
a letter, like B-Man. B-Man, did you write a letter about this?
I write letters, man. You know, I use a stamp. I write a letter. It happens, and I get published. I'm famous author in my own way.
Well, now you're affecting a ride.
I don't mean to. Like on other rides, that's probably the one like quote I remember is "We wants the redhead."
Well, I have
she's
decided.
hot.
I have decided after hearing the story that I do have to go back to Disney sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Go to the little shop at the end of the ride, and they do have a "We wants the redhead," or me wants the redhead. I think is how it's worded. They have a shirt with the redhead and with this phrase, and then around it they have the other stuff from the ride. I've got to get the shirt before the ride changes because that shirt will also go away. So however many of them are out there right now is the last of those shirts. So
Yeah, it's a collector's item now.
there you go.
I think it's silly to a degree, but I guess not surprising because it sounds like they've been doing this for a while, trying to make it more appropriate for everybody or whatever. So like it makes sense, and I don't even remember the last time I was on the ride. I'm sure I was a little kid or whatever, but. Does it really matter? Like who? Again, yeah, like y'all were saying, who's in there complaining? But was anybody in there complaining about the other things either? Though I don't.
Probably not. And
So-
I never really understood why they bothered changing it at all. What I'm worried about is they're going to take it to an extreme next. And okay, now we have to have a cat that also has a key at the end because you can't have just a dog; you have to have a cat as well. And what about the guy lying in the mud with the pigs? Well, how do the horses and cows feel about that? I mean, don't they want to be lying in the mud with the pigs?
Yeah, you
and all
can
that
drive
too?
yourself crazy trying
can.
to make
You
everything
can.
even and
Yeah, it's-
safe.
I'm using ludicrous examples. I don't
Yeah.
think of that. I see nothing wrong with this change. It'll actually probably be a very cool area. I don't know what to think about it. I'm kind of torn. Sometimes I immediately have a, what in the world are you doing? Sometimes it's a, finally. This one, I don't know what to think.
Yeah, it's like there's always somebody that feels strongly about things like that, and I think that is the problem. Is like it's really something not to feel strongly about on either side.
way, yeah.
So when you hear it's being changed, you're like, oh, you could just be like, oh, that's stupid. Why would you do that? But not enough to be like, I'm never going to ride that ride again. So it'll continue to happen because nobody that doesn't care cares, So it's like they're going to keep changing it, and before you know it, they won't be pirates at all anymore. They'll be something else.
Pirates weren't historically good people anyways.
No, they were not.
Well, how about this? In your role, B-Man, as a
Yes.
father of a young daughter, someone who I'm sure anyone who's complained, they've put themselves in that kind of role saying this is a bad image for our young girls, female children, whatever the politically correct term is there. Do you ever feel like it was a bad thing for your daughter to ride through there, seeing
No.
these women being auctioned?
No, I don't think she understands, first of all, what's really happening.
Right.
Second of all, I mean, once she does get to that phase, when she what's happening, she also understands that pirates were bad people.
Yeah.
They did bad. They
They were
plundered.
the bad
They
guys.
did bad things.
Yeah.
They were the bad guys. Now, if you want to change anything, make it a happy ending with the pirates get busted, something like that. If you really want to get politically correct, so the good guys win. But this is just stupid. I mean, I think it's stupid.
Yeah.
It's a comedy ride. It's meant for fun, and
Now, again, if they said we're changing up 10 different things in the ride, because people have been seeing the same thing forever and ever, and that's just one of them,
right.
not for politically correct reasons, just because, hey, Wonder Woman's doing really well at the theaters, and people love to see a woman kicking butt and taking charge, so we're going to give the redhead a gun and make her a pirate. If that's the reason, that's actually, okay, cool.
Yeah, if you're looking to make changes anyway, as long as they're good new updates, who cares what the real reasons behind it are?
Yeah, I mean, like you said earlier, pirates auction the things anyways. Doesn't make sense to me. You want something, pirates, they want something to take it.
They
That's
take
that's
it.
what
Yeah, it
pirates
is a
known as.
weird. It's
This
a
is really
weird
odd to
setting.
me,
Like
they
if
do
you're
that
gonna
way.
take that scene out, change it to something completely different.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. All right, so that was one of the two possible main topics of the day. I'm not
Okay.
sure if that went long enough.
Okay,
So the second possible main topic of the day, Game of Thrones,
comes back.
coming back on the 16th.
Yes.
So we are now only 13 days away. 13, it's a good number. But 13 days away from return of Game of Thrones, and it's next to last season, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Half season, I believe.
Is everybody caught up on Game of Thrones, or does everybody watch Game of Thrones?
You don't watch Game of Thrones.
You don't watch
right?
Game of Thrones.
I'm all
No.
caught up on Game of Thrones. It's awesome.
It is awesome. Yes.
And
I would
we're
love
probably
to
going to
watch
mention something spoiler here, so I assume you don't care
That's
since
fine.
you don't watch it. All right,
Totally
so
fine.
spoiler alert. My question is, with it coming back, not about trailers you've seen or anything else, but what do you want to see in this next season for
I
Game of
just want
Thrones?
to see a lot of war finally. There's been so much build up to this point.
Right?
You know, the White Walkers were established in season 1,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't really touch them until like end of last season, right? Was that what it was when they came back and Jon Snow fought them?
Well, throughout the season, you got some of them here and there, but yeah, the big blow up was towards the end of the season.
So they pretty much been non-existent for like 5 seasons. Other than mentioned here
I mean,
and there.
they Sam fought one the season before that.
Yeah, I mean,
They've been building their forces, biding their time.
right. But at this point, I want to see them in full action.
Yeah.
You know, this Arya's whole training has been led up to this point. Okay, I want to see Arya just be assassin now. You know, Arya's made
And you saw that teased at the end of the last season.
Right, yeah.
She had her first kill, effectively. I mean, not the first person, but the first one on her list
right.
was the end of last season.
Oh, fortunately, her list is like half over already, anyways.
Well, yeah, she didn't have to worry about half her list. People have done it for her.
Yeah,
That's okay. I mean, Joffrey, too late.
yeah,
Yeah,
happened.
Joffrey's gone. I don't know. Is there one person you want to see Arya kill more than anybody else? Since other people will die before she gets to them, is there somebody on that list you want to see Arya kill more than anyone else? If she can only have one.
There's only one kill. Maybe Littlefinger. You know, he's on the list, I don't believe, but he should be one that needs
He
to
should
go.
be on there. If she knew everything he had been doing,
I
he'd
think
be on
she'll
the
find
list.
out. I mean, Cersei, everybody's going to say Cersei. I think Jaime's going to kill Cersei. I really do.
That's a good twist if it happens.
See, I don't even think that would be a twist. I feel like that's where we've been leading to this whole time. I think if that's who kills him, it'd feel too on the nose, and that show
Jaime.
normally doesn't. Yeah,
Oh.
the show normally doesn't do that. If Jaime kills Cersei, it's gonna be like, oh, well, duh. We've known that. We've been going that way for so long. I feel like she's got to go out a different way.
You think so?
I'm with you. I want a lot of war and stuff, but I'm worried that if they do that, the show loses what it was, and it is characters.
Well, keep in mind, this season's only 6 episodes, I believe, right?
Is that all it is?
Is it half a
Very
season?
I think
short.
it's 8. I think
Is
it's
it
8.
eight?
And then
Okay.
the last season, because they do get progressively shorter, I believe. But maybe you're right. I don't know. But it is, yes, it's truncated. But I think the show is built on the backs of those characters and those character dynamics. If you just get what you got last season the whole time, it's not going to be that good.
No, I agree with you there. But I do want some action finally. Happen.
Yeah, I won't. If it is 6 episodes like you're saying, I want 4 of them to be action heavy. But I need that character development in there still. Or I just won't care about these people that are dying in droves. You know?
Well, question is Jaime on Arya's list?
Jamie, was he? I can't.
I don't know. If he was, here's another thing. You don't know it, but she secretly already killed him and is wearing his face and kills Cersei. So you think it's Jaime,
Yeah, I'm pretty
and then
sure
it
that's
turns
not
out
the
to be
case.
Arya.
She's a foot taller
Yeah,
now.
she grew a lot there. That's the thing.
She learns a lot,
And the question too is, her original teacher, the sword dancer.
Yeah.
You never actually saw him die.
No, he's dead, bro.
You think so?
Oh yeah, they killed him for
in
sure.
the book, it came across clearer that he was probably dead. But you're right.
But a lot
We
of
don't
things
know
in the
it.
book have changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't see him. It cuts and like she's running off or whatever, but they break his sword. He doesn't have a sword anymore because he's only got the wooden one to begin with, and it's
Yeah.
like I felt like he's dead. And I mean, what would his character matter at this point anyway? That was just a stepping stone for her.
We assumed
character
Han was
progression.
dead for a while.
Did we though? That
kinda
one
did.
felt more like he was an established character, and you got the cutaway for him. Sword guy was in like 2 episodes before he died, maybe.
Who kills the mountain?
Who kills the mountain?
Yeah, it's the Hound.
No, I think I don't know. The
Because
mountain's not even.
the mountain is essentially Jason Voorhees now.
Yeah,
of course.
the mountain.
He is.
The mountain is
He really is.
Jason. I
So
don't know.
Chewbacca's going to come out of nowhere.
Rip his arms off. Yeah, I don't know. I
That'd be
forgot that he
great.
was even in that.
A dragon.
A dragon eats.
Honestly, I bet a dragon gets him. It's the most, unless you do it from a distance and make it very anticlimactic. A dragon's the only way to make that death really cool.
but it's Chewbacca.
That's true. I mean, I can see though, like the Unsullied, like rushing it, and like 4 or 5 or 6 of them jumping on him at a time to get to Cersei and something like that. That would be the only other way. Then it wouldn't
Yeah.
be as fulfilling though, because you don't get a character.
Right.
I mean, I guess Grey Worm could be the one leading that charge or whatever. But yeah, you're probably right with the dragon. What if
You guys sound crazy.
there's dragons and Grey Worms
Grey
and
Worm.
Unsullied?
No,
Yeah.
I watched the first couple of seasons, so I knew what you were talking about with the sword dancer guy that
Yeah.
trained the little girl.
Yeah.
I remember that.
That's Arya. Yeah.
He died?
Dragon season 1.
Yeah, he's dead, bro.
But you, like you said, you didn't see him die, right?
I
I think
didn't
I
see him
assumed
on
he was
screen.
fine.
Because Arya took off. You didn't see her. She
He
didn't go
is
back to the
not fine.
city since.
If he was a main like big title character and you didn't see him die on screen, he's not dead. But if he's a minor side character, yeah, he's dead.
But why not just show
I'm
it
not
then?
convinced he's dead.
I mean,
That show's not shying away from violence. I mean, they just kill him.
Okay, how about the man with no name? The
is he not dead? I thought
no, he's still alive.
I thought Arya killed him.
No, she threatened him and took
walked,
off.
Yeah, she just
Oh,
walked
okay.
away.
She killed his
Why
assistant.
hasn't someone named the guy by now? How many seasons are we in?
Because he's no one.
Well, his name's like Jack O'Gare or something like that.
He's
'cause
no one.
She called his name
Yeah, I
and
know.
what it was, but is he coming
Which
back?
we're not even sure that that's who that was, though. That's just the face he was wearing.
I somehow have a feeling
Sure.
that's it for him. Not as in he dies, he's just,
He doesn't need to come back.
he didn't come back anymore. He's fulfilled his purpose in the story, he's gone. Because with so few episodes, even if he's in the books, they've got to really start focusing. to
Yeah.
Yeah, they get to tie a lot of these storylines up.
So having him come back doesn't help a thing unless he ends up killing everybody and sits on the throne himself. That's not going to happen.
Now, just go back to the topic because you're all caught up. The Sansa scene from last year, last season, was very controversial. You know what it is?
Which-
Sansa with her husband
Oh
scene.
yes,
and
yeah.
Out of everything that show has done, why was that the most controversial part of that TV show?
Because she was looked at as a child. She had come to age in the show, but a lot of people still had those blinders on, her and Arya, as being children.
Okay, because I guess in the books it's different.
That was actually 2 seasons ago.
Was it 2 seasons
Yeah.
ago?
It was because remember the
Yeah,
way
you're
the
right,
season
you're
ended was her and what's his face jumping off the wall into the snow.
Yeah.
Reek.
Reek.
Yeah, no, I think that's what I think. It's just because they're children in the eyes of the public. I mean, they're both grown adults, really. Both those girls are like in their early 20s, but that's what it was. Those characters feel like children.
It would make it more for the audience, not so much within the story, but for the audience.
I guess I get you there because we have seen them grow up.
Yeah.
I know it's a bad scene, but at the same point too, that shows on so many.
Yeah, it's
bad
far
things.
from the worst scene we've seen. It's
Yeah,
like,
that's the thing.
Jon Snow. Okay, so first, who is he?
He's a Targaryen.
And that's the question. What everybody assumes at this point, but we don't yet know 100% for a fact.
Well, you kind of did the flashback to the baby, who's this baby, and then it goes right to him.
Right. So that baby was him, but we don't know if that baby was a Targaryen.
this is back to the sword dancer. I come out of that episode being like, okay, he's Targaryen.
Which would mean he is Daenerys' half-brother.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the way they would, at least under the Targaryens or before, establish who the next ruler is. Did they go by only the male children, or the female in line as well? If the female are in line, who's older? Her or him? I'm not sure, because they look about the same age.
Yeah, I mean, that comes back to the book a little bit, too. And obviously they've changed their ages. In the book, she's only like 13. So maybe she is supposed to be a little younger, older than she is in the book, obviously. And he seemed to be right under Robb as far as age goes. And Robb is a man. He's like an adult.
But in the books, wasn't he like 15 himself?
I don't think so.
Well, actually, here's something. It was when that whole battle happened and they killed the Mad King and all the rest, and her and her brother escaped. She was a baby. She was a baby at the escape. At the end of all that war is when Ned Stark comes home, bringing a baby.
So
with
yeah,
him.
they would be very similar in age, maybe
Very similar.
slightly
Different-
younger,
Yeah.
even.
But again, how long has Ned Stark had the kid during the war?
Well,
'Cause he
that
would come
too,
home- yeah. I kind of knew it wasn't Ned Stark right away. He just seemed too honorable to cheat on his wife.
So
Oh, Ned Stark.
assuming that they
She
are
thought he
half
did,
brother
right?
and sister,
Right.
I know
who ends up ruling, or do they split it up? Do they have a amicable arrangement and she rules on the Iron Throne and he rules in the North? And
I don't think Jon Snow wants to rule.
no, but that
I think he'll
not
take the
everybody
North.
gets not anybody gets what they want in this.
I think
thing.
he'll take the North back and she would get the throne.
I don't think either one of those characters make it to the end of the series, so it doesn't really matter. I don't think there's an Iron Throne at the end of Game of Thrones.
Really?
I think the White Walkers wash over that continent before everybody finally comes together to fight them off. And there's no Iron Throne at the end. There's nothing but wreckage.
You think it's just White Walkers and Chewbacca? That's it?
Yeah, army of White Walkers led by Chewbacca.
I seem to remember there being some controversy about when they brought Jon Snow back. Because that was like a big deal, so I heard about it. He
brought him back to life,
died, and then they brought him back to life.
Yeah.
I remember there being some controversy where people were like,
So
why'd you even kill him then?
So he's also Jason. He comes back to life.
He is. There's a lot of Jasons.
Yeah, a lot
Hodor.
of Jasons.
Hodor would be a good Jason.
Yeah.
It's funny that they killed him just to bring him back. But it's funny
I
because
got the impression a lot of people wanted him to just stay dead.
that's how the show normally is. But I think they were still shooting from the books at that point. So I don't think that was a decision made by the TV show. That was in the books. So
There's not much they could do
yeah,
about it.
they can't be like, well, he's dead. He's dead.
Yeah, one of the guys. Who was that guy that killed his daughter? Burned his daughter.
Baratheon.
Baratheon.
Stannis.
Yeah, in the book, he refused to kill his daughter. No matter what, she rules. If I die, she rules the throne. That was the most precious thing to him. He never would have killed her in the book.
Well,
Is that
let me
kinda-
tell you something about that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
He's
yeah.
gone. He's gone.
But no, I think it was important to kill him though because it does, in his head, release him from the Night's Watch. Did you get to that part at least where he goes to the Night's Watch? So he can't be a ruler. He can't be a king. He can't do anything because that is his life. But you're part of the Night's Watch into the end of your watch, and he died. So he's not even. And there's an episode where he says that he's like, my watch is over, and he like walks away or whatever. So like it kind of frees them up for them to do whatever they want to with that character without making him Ned Stark in the fact of like, well, you went against your vows and this and that or whatever.
So the last one that's important asking about Tyrion. What happens with Tyrion? Does he?
He has to live.
Tyrion dies.
Tyrion dies. Everybody dies in your book.
He's the dwarf, right?
Yeah.
Here's the dwarf.
I think he's the last of their family that lives. The only
Yeah.
good one. I really think, whether he dies or not, I think he's the last surviving one at that point. I think Jaime and Cersei will both be gone, and he'll be the last one. And it could be he'll say, my line needs to die out and kill himself, or sacrifice himself, or he realizes he gets to change his family's. Our family's done horrible things over the years. We owe a debt to this world, and a Lannister always pays his debt. That'd be a great ending to the entire series. Him showing the Lannisters now as a family being on the good side and helping from a benevolent standpoint, and him paying the debt back
Yeah.
completely different than what any Lannister before that.
I think
that'd be
Khaleesi
cool.
takes over the throne. I think he becomes her hand.
I think that is, again, too on the nose.
It is too early. You're right.
She has gathered this army over the course of all these seasons. She's conquered everything she's come up against. For her to make it all the way to the throne and rule doesn't seem like something that
She
show
has
would do.
dragons.
Yeah, I mean she does, but you see all those White Walkers.
There's
a lot of them. Yeah,
And
I
of course,
just
when you realize also it would fit in with the show and the writers' methods of continually having stuff happen in the end, get back to right where things would have been if you'd left well enough alone. Mm-hmm. If they just killed the Mad King and said, okay, she can be in charge when she grows up,
yeah,
you could have skipped everything that happened in between.
it's true.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would-
I
that would
honestly wouldn't be surprised if we see Tyrion be killed by like Cersei or something, because that's exactly what people don't want to happen, and that's what that show gives you, things you
Yeah,
don't want to
It
happen.
does do that. It's
So.
just you would hope at least by the last season you start getting some payoffs of what you do want to see. But we don't know.
Fingers crossed. Yeah,
Right.
I don't know.
All right, so winding up here in our last couple of minutes, technically 1 minute and 49 seconds.
I can get it off. Yeah.
What is our B-Man question of the week for next time, and is it better?
Yes, it is a better
It is
one. This one I
faster.
came up with myself. If you were in charge of Disney, came to you. Not in charge of Disney. Disney comes to you.
Okay.
Make a spin-off Star Wars movie yourself, one shot, from somebody in the lore already. What movie do you make?
One shot.
One shot. That's it.
Chewbacca.
Just one movie.
Fight-
With the
Jason.
goal of, hey, if it's good enough, there will be more, or you mean
No,
for it to be one
That's
and
it.
done?
Like a Han Solo prequel, or it could be a prequel, it could be a sequel, it could be anything. Just a one-shot, 2.5 hour long movie. What is it?
Why don't it be 2.5 hours? Why couldn't it be?
Well, whatever the
minute?
time frame's going to be,
Okay,
John Paul.
I'm just I'm
Mine would
getting
be
the parameters
Wicked's Big
here.
Adventure.
It could be. The Ewok Adventure already happened, though.
Oh,
Sorry.
dang
Okay.
it. I really missed the boat.
You did.
Well, they had a couple of them. I mean, they had
There were two of them.
what? Yeah, two plus all the Ewok cartoons.
Okay, well, that's not the Ewoks. No Ewoks. Or Jar Jar Binks. You can't do
Oh,
those.
Jar
You can't do
Jar's
those. You
Big
can't do those.
Adventure.
Jar Jar's Big Adventure.
Nope,
Yeah, there you
that's
go.
not part of the question.
Lisa got my own movie.
And that's when we know the world is done. All right, on that note, this is John Paul.
B-Man.
Hard at work, Matt.
And hard at work, Nick.
We are signing out. Whenever the music decides to start.
Every week you do that, too.
One of these days,